Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Renee Allen and Friends Show. To the Renee Allen and Friends Show. We have a wonderful guest in the studio. Thank you for tuning in. Welcome. Right.
Miss Renee.
Hi, I'm Dr. Renee Starlin Allen, the host of the Renee Allen and Friends Show here on WLVS Radio, the largest online radio broadcast in the United States. Well, this platform is for people to really know what's going on, not just locally, but globally.
Oh, I love it. They say you're the man's the head, but we're the neck, and we put them wherever we want to put them. Is that true?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
I want you to just talk about a few pieces, and then the fundraiser, because that's what I'm excited about.
Okay. We forgot about love. Beautiful love.
Bringing you the best in entertainment, entrepreneurship, business owners, the whole gamut. It's so exciting. I am so impressed. The vibrancy and the color and the details. Can we hold one up?
Oh, absolutely. I'll hold on. I'll hold up one of my absolute favorites.
So you really can't judge a book by its cover. And pageants are about beauty and brains and what you can bring to the platform.
'Cause girl, when you're here, nothing goes wrong. Yes, I need you everything.
Bringing you the finest in chefs in the DMV.
Oh my goodness. Wow, this is awesome. Thank you so much. Smoked pulled pork.
So everybody wave to your parents. You are looking at Somerset's finest, the sophisticated ladies. Yes! Thank you so much, ladies. And I hope to see you on my set one day. Thank you. God bless you. And we're going to be doing a lot of collaboration and a lot of great things together. Glory to God. Bam! Boom! Ta-da!
Oh, yeah. We right here, y'all.
Something you never had, you need to do something you've never done.
Yes.
We gon' sing right here. Yeah, Miss Renee. Oh, yeah. We gon' do it here. Right here in Listen Vision, y'all. Oh, yeah. Miss Renee.
Hello, and welcome to the Renee Allen and Friends Show. My name is Portia Lee Taylor, and I will be opening up for Dr. Renee this evening. I am so excited to be here with you all tonight to tune in for Tech Talk with Portia Lee Taylor right here at WLSV Radio Show. The largest online radio show broadcast right here at the United States, right across from HU, right here in our nation's capital. So, tonight, we're going to be talking about the Tech Talk topic. I've been waiting to talk about this for quite some time. The importance of protecting your professional information, your personal information, and 4 tips that you can start using today to better protect yourself. So, people are becoming more and more concerned about what is actually happening with their information. A year ago this month, a new GDPR was actually passed, which is called the General Data Protection Regulation, which actually helps protect you and me and our personal information and how that's actually accessed and identified. That means that any information that is out there that can identify a person or an identifiable person is considered personal data. And last year, there were some serious breaches in our system over the past few years that has allowed this to take place, and it honestly needed to take place. So, with that being said, I'm going to jump right into it. Did you know that 1 in 4 people say that they actually trust a business with their personal information? Did you know that 40% of people actually worry if their personal information is going to be passed without their consent? Well, I'm going to explain this a little bit deeper. Because in 2007, and the UK government was actually forced to admit that the personal information of over 25 million individuals had been lost. That's right, 25 million people's personal information was absolutely lost. And in 2015, that's just 4 years ago, right here in our own backyard in the US, voter registration, which I'm sure you understand that was during the time of presidential elections, over 191 million Americans like you and I, actually public information was made available on the internet. That means you didn't have to have passcodes or any type of authentication to actually access that information. Now, that voter registration information contained you and I names, phone numbers, mailing addresses, personal addresses, even down to who you were actually voting for, your political party. Sounds scary, right? It is. And that was the reason why this needed to happen last year, and it's still going into an effect. So, with that being said, I'm sure you're wondering, how in the world can I be able to start protecting myself now? Well, here are 4 good tips I'm going to share with you right now. So, number 1, I did this last year as soon as I found out that the GDPR decided to do this entire overhaul. I changed all of my passwords, whether it was my phone, it was my laptop, it was my email addresses, any active account that I had online, including social media. I completely changed all of my passwords. And I suggest that if you haven't taken the time to do that, that you do that as well. Reason being, because as I mentioned before, if those emails got out there, what else actually got out there? Right? So with that being said, delete any old accounts that you are no longer using, because you don't want someone to be able to use those old passwords and access those old accounts. They can imitate you. They can be able to go in there and find more information about you. And this is going to help better protect yourself. Now, you're probably wondering, well, what if I had a credit card that I no longer use anymore? It's completely canceled out. What about that information? Are companies still able to keep that information? Absolutely not. So let's say you decide to cancel something. You can actually call that company and ask them or tell them to delete all of your information out their system, and they have to comply with that consent. If they no longer have any use for your information, meaning that you don't have any use for being able to have a relationship with them, they should be deleting your information. Now, outside of that, this is my favorite one too. Lock it up. Whether you have, like I said, a laptop, a phone, any type of device or anything that has a password that can be put in there, do it. Lock up your phone. Phones now have facial recognition, fingerprint scanning, and all those things can really help you feel a lot more secure about your information. Let's say you accidentally leave your phone in the train. There are millions of people that jump on these metro trains per day and per week. That information can absolutely be tapped into had you not had some type of password protection or authentication on your devices. And so with that, the last one I'm going to show you here, and this is just another way to protect yourself because hackers are very, very good nowadays. You can actually put on your computer a cover. So if you want to, you can actually just buy one of these. You can get them online at Amazon or whatnot, but it will actually allow you to cover up your webcam. Sometimes we may leave it on or cut it off, but you can actually buy one of these sleeves and actually push it right in, and it will cover up your webcam anytime that you are not using your laptop or any devices that have some type of webcam mechanism on there. So, in conclusion, even the most robust systems can be breached. Remember that. It does not matter because it can happen and it does happen. The most unfortunate part is some of them actually go unnoticed. You do have a right to be able to get your information, how they use that information. Ask them. When you go to a website and you're putting in your email, make sure that you go and you check out their privacy policy. Every business, including my own, and if you run a business, should have a privacy policy on your website. And what that should state on there is, how are they going to be using your information? If they didn't consent to use your information, in other ways will they use it? Because a lot of companies have third-party affiliates that they do cross their information over to. So a good policy would include details on who you can contact if you were trying to get your data and your information. Who will actually be seeing this information? Is it just the business? Is it other people outside of the business? What would they be doing with this information? Would they just be sending you an email? Will they be calling you, texting you, sending you things by direct mail? Who actually receives your information on the other end? Very important. And your rights to access your information and your rights to transparency and to also rectify any of that information that you feel has been breached. So these are my conclusions for today, and I really hope that you've been able to take these tips and start applying them as soon as possible, because your information is important to you, because I know mine is important to me. Thank you all so much for tuning in to the Renee Allen and Friends Show here in Washington, D.C. My name is Portia Lee Taylor, and this is Tech Talk with Portia Lee Taylor. Thank you all so much. Yay!
Breathing, grounding, visualize. Listen to your heart, then shake it off. Breathing, grounding, visualize yourself. Feeling better. Something you can feel. Something you can feel. Healing your mind, heart, body, and soul. Don't you know that's something? Grounding yourself to get centered. Visualize the impossible. Listen to your heart, let go and believe. Love is the answer. Always. Love is the answer. Always. Breathing. Something you can feel. Grounded. Something you can feel. Visualize the impossible. Don't you know it's something you can feel with Miss Paula? Breathing, grounding, visualize. Listen to your heart, then shake it off. Breathing, grounding, visualize yourself. Feeling better. Something you can feel. Something you can feel. Healing your mind, heart, body, and soul. Don't you know that's something? Grounding yourself to get centered. Visualize the impossible. Listen to your heart, let go and believe. Love is the answer. Always. Love is the answer. Always. Breathing. Something you can feel. Grounded. Something you can feel. Visualize the impossible. Don't you know it's something you can feel with Miss Paula? Breathing, grounding, visualize. Listen to your heart, then shake it off. Breathing, grounding, visualize yourself. Feeling better. Something you can feel. Something you can feel. Healing your mind, heart, body, and soul. Don't you know that's something? Grounding yourself to get centered. Visualize the impossible. Listen to your heart, let go and believe. Love is the answer. Always. Love is the answer. Always. Breathing. Something you can feel. Grounded. Something you can feel. Visualize the impossible. Don't you know it's something you can feel with Miss Paula? Breathing, grounding, visualize. Listen to your heart, then shake it off. Breathing, grounding, visualize yourself feeling better. Something you can feel. Something you can feel. Healing your mind, heart, body, and soul. Don't you know that's something? Grounding yourself to get centered. Visualize the impossible. Listen to your heart, let go and believe. Love is the answer. Always. Love is the answer. Always. Breathing. Something you can feel. Grounded. Something you can feel. Visualize the impossible. Don't you know it's something you can feel with Miss Paula?
Welcome to the Renee Allen and Friends Show. Once again, I am so excited about Miss Portia Lee Taylor. Come on, y'all, give it up. She was amazing. I am so proud of her. This is a woman who is stepping into her greatness right here on the Renee Allen and Friends Show on WLVS, the largest online radio broadcast in the United States. Isn't that great, y'all? Right across from Howard University in the nation's capital. How good is that? Woo! Listen, I got to dedicate this show to a very dear friend of mine. Our children went to school together at Reed Temple Christian Academy in Bowie, Maryland. And she was on the PTSA with me. We shared so many great memories. And then after sixth grade, we just lost contact until the Spectrum Circle. Now, you know who that belongs to? Our girl, Karen Marie Alston, original co-host of the Renee Allen and Friends Show. And that was about 2 months ago in March. And I was reunited with Betty Jennifer. And then a couple of days ago, my God, I looked on Facebook and saw our mutual friend, Jackie Hicks of Fond Memories Photography, and found out that she was shot. I was so distraught. I can't believe I could talk about it now. I was so distraught. This woman was like sunlight walking into a room. If you Google it, she was the woman shot in Greenbelt on Friday about 5 p.m. And it was a domestic. It's just a sad situation. So I don't want to talk about it too much. I just wanted to give kudos, memory, love, just dedicate this show, this episode to Betty Jennifer. I love you. We're gonna miss you. I was trying to get a hold of Jackie Hicks to come on the line and say a few words, but she's so distraught. So we're gonna go see the family maybe tomorrow. But family, we lift you up in prayers and we love you. I am so sorry this has happened. We are all devastated. Rest in peace, Betty. We love you. Woo, I got that out. Ooh. So also, Bill Hart, a friend to the show, friend of mine, mutual friend of Jennifer Hamilton, and so many people in the DMV and beyond. This wonderful soul here, he's always here for you, always there when you need him. He's going to stop in, take a few pictures of the show today. Speaking of which, we had the spectacular, just millennial, you're a millennial, right, Portia? Dynamo, Portia Lee Taylor. And in a few minutes, we're going to take a break, and we're going to come back with a special edition of the Women in Professional Sports. WIPS is the acronym. And my dear friend, Gisette Lang English, who's joined my show in a segment called WIPS, Unscripted. And they were involved in a Part 1, Part 2 NBA Moms of the DMV, which will probably be seen on Radio 1 or one of those, State TV 1 or one of those. They're shopping it now. But we thought we'd bring them on here to have just a unscripted dialogue about their lives as NBA moms. And this is going to be so so awesome. Some of them of which have never talked about this before until the other day. So we're going to have that. I wanted to say hi to Malad. Malad, my dear friends Bill and Peggy Morris. She's the president of Sisters for Sisters Network, which I've been a part of for almost 8 years. Are my dear friends, and he's taken my son out fishing, all kinds of stuff. And so Malad is down from Canada, I believe. He's always traveling with his cat. So if you're watching, Malad, woo, how you doing? I'm gonna do a Wendy. How you doing? Anyway, they are such great people. Love you so much. So let's take one last thing. Let me get this out the way, because tomorrow we are going to be involved with a golf tournament at Oak Creek. Yes, there it is. It's the 7th annual golf tournament and fundraiser. The Prince George's Chamber of Commerce. And there will be my girl and your girl, Angela Stribling, and from Pillow Talk, WHUR, myself from WLVS, and Urban One with the Chris Thomas Show with Dr. Renee. And, of course, NFL greats, Ken Jenkins, former NFL Redskins running back, all types of great people and great fun. So I think the doors open at 12. It's 12 to 3. I'm running one of the golf clinics. I had a blast a couple of years ago. So come on out. It's a awards luncheon following the tournament. It's going to be a blast. Okay, so we'll be right back. Enjoy. I don't know if we're going to have Silver Logan Sharp, my girl, or Mike Winans, but enjoy the music, and we'll be right back with who? Whips.
Breathing, grounding, visualize. Listen to your heart, then shake it off. Breathing, grounding, visualize yourself feeling better. Something you can feel. Something you can feel. Healing your mind, heart, body, and soul. Don't you know that's something? Grounding yourself to get centered. Visualize the impossible. Listen to your heart, let go and believe. Love is the answer. Always. Love is the answer. Always. Breathing. Something you can feel. Grounded. Something you can feel. Visualize the impossible. Don't you know it's something you can feel with Miss Paula? Breathing, grounding, visualize. Listen to your heart, then shake it off. Breathing, grounding, visualize yourself feeling better. Something you can feel. Something you can feel. Healing your mind, heart, body, and soul. Don't you know that's something? Grounding yourself to get centered. Visualize the impossible. Listen to your heart, let go and believe. Love is the answer. Always. Love is the answer. Always. Breathing. Something you can feel. Grounded. Something you can feel. Visualize the impossible. Don't you know it's something you can feel with Miss Paula? Breathing, grounding, visualize. Listen to your heart, then shake it off. Breathing, grounding, visualize yourself feeling better. something you can feel. Grounded, something you can feel. Visualize the impossible. Don't you know it's something you can feel with Miss Paula? Oh, breathing, grounding, visualize. Listen to your heart, then shake it off. Breathing, grounding, visualize yourself feeling better. Something you can feel. Something you can feel. Healing your mind, heart, body, and soul. Don't you know that's something? Grounding yourself to get centered. Visualize the impossible. Listen to your heart, let go and believe. Love is the answer. Always, love is the answer. Always. Breathing, something you can feel. Grounded, something you can feel. Visualize the impossible. Don't you know it's something you can feel with Miss Paula? Oh, breathing, grounding, visualize. Listen to your heart, then shake it off. Breathing, grounding, visualize yourself feeling better. Something you can feel. Something you can feel. Healing your mind, heart, body, and soul. Don't you know that's something? Grounding yourself to get centered. Visualize the impossible. Listen to your heart, let go and believe. Love is the answer. Always, love is the answer. Always. Breathing, something you can feel. Grounded, something you can feel. Visualize the impossible. Don't you know it's something you can feel with Miss Paula? Oh, breathing, grounding, visualize. Listen to your heart, then shake it off. Breathing, grounding, visualize yourself feeling better. Something you can feel. Something you can feel. Healing your mind, heart, body, and soul. Don't you know that's something? Grounding yourself to get centered. Visualize the impossible. Listen to your heart, let go and believe. Love is the answer. Always, love is the answer. Always.
Hello, and welcome back to the Renee Allen and Friends Show. I am so excited. This is a special episode of WIPS Unscripted, which stands for Women in Professional Sports. I'm doubly excited because not only do I have my girl, Miss Gisette Lane English here, but she has brought three of her girls.
Yes, I have.
Come on, y'all ring that bell, ring that bell. Come on now. So listen. so I want to start off just by saying, thank you to our sponsors. One, of course, is Novetica, your pet's choice, a revolutionary and innovative products and services for your furry loved ones to have an opportunity to live a happier and healthier life. Also, TIS Foundation, they'll be having their 25th year anniversary celebration on June 6th, and there's more to come about that. So let's get to you. How y'all doing, ladies?
Hi, Renee. Thanks for having us again.
You are so welcome. So we'll start with you, Gisette. Talk about why you thought it was so important to bring the ladies here, and then we can start with the introductions.
Because we got something to say, darn it. That's very, very important. And we can inspire women inside professional sports and just women in general. And these ladies have a wealth of knowledge collectively, and I think everyone will be interested in hearing what they have to share.
Well, I'm excited. Well, let's start with you, Gisette. Introduce yourself, although you are the host of WIPS normally, but because you're one of the moms of the NBA players, we're just going to put you on the other side today.
Pro basketball players.
Pro basketball players, yes. So introduce yourself and brag about your child.
I am Gisette Lane English. One of my sons is AJ English III, and my baby is Asian English. I have a daughter, Ajay. She doesn't play ball, but I want to brag on her too. Yeah. But we started a company called Speak English 5, and we do exactly what we're doing today. We share the inside scoop of professional basketball from the female's perspective. So that's basically in a nutshell.
Awesome.
Hi, I'm Michelle Riddick. My son is Damian Lee. There he is. He's my only child. He currently is currently playing with Golden State. He's inactive right now, but he's with Golden State Warriors.
Awesome. And my name is Beverly Grant Holston, and I have 4 sons. My oldest is Jeray, who is in Lithuania with his family. I have Jaron. He plays for Orlando Magic. And Jeremy Grant, who plays for OKC, and then my youngest, Jalen.
That's a lot, y'all. Janice.
Hi, my name is Janet Stevens-Cook. Hi, Dr. Renee. How are you? My son is Quinn Cook, and he plays for the Golden State Warriors. That was at the championship, the finals last year with my daughter, Kelsey. She lives in LA as well. And just blessed to have been on this journey.
Well, that's a great segue for Journey. So I have some questions here, and I want to stick to the script because it's so important for people to know about what you're going through and experiencing. So let's start with you, since you said journey, right? Do you feel that this journey has been worth it? Why or why not?
Oh, absolutely. First of all, I feel that everyone's journey is different. So, there's some young men who are drafted, and that's their path, but then sometimes they're drafted and they have different challenges too. Then you have young men who go overseas, you have young men who don't play professionally, and they were slated to play. They thought in their minds that they would play professionally, but so they have different careers within sports or careers, they're productive citizens. So everyone's journey is different, but I really feel that I think I can speak for the group, but I can speak for myself. What we want, what we want is for our kids to be productive citizens, men of God, people, men of good character, good husbands, good fathers. That's what we really want for our boys, our young men, I should say.
Thank you. Beverly, I want to ask you a question because you were the one that had 4 sons, I think 3 of which are in pro ball, right? So how have you fulfilled your own life with all that going on?
Wow, that's a good question. That's a great question.
Told you.
Clearly, they are always a big part of everything that I do. So I think I always say we sat in the floor with our kids, because I feel like everybody doesn't do that at this time. But I definitely gave a lot to them, and I still do. But I'm living my best life right now, for sure. I mean, I'm remarried. I have my husband. We have a blended family that's, and that's fabulous. And I travel. I have amazing girlfriends. I spend a lot of time with my parents who are, still traveling and enjoying their grandkids. So I definitely feel like I'm still working and enjoying my job and my career and working on my son's foundation. So my life is full. And, you know, I continue to feed into the kids, but I still take back for myself.
Did y'all hear that? Always taking back for yourself. Yes. So let's talk about family. Let me see what I'm going to ask you. Now, do you have many friends outside of this sports arena? And if you do you ever feel judged?
Wow, that's
a good question.
Because I go through these things.
Ooh.
So I wrote down these questions
girl.
because
Yeah,
I
we
go
worked
through
it
these
out.
things. Yeah, so let's
Heck of a
hear it.
Good
question.
question.
Yeah.
I have I do have friends outside of the sports arena. I have my basketball mom friends, and then I have some friends that were, you know, basketball moms, and we just become very good girlfriends. Like Jen and I are very close. And then I do have other friends. I have friends that I go to church with, my girlfriends from church. I have girlfriends from back home. I'm from Long Island, New York originally.
Can you
So
tell?
I have, so I have girlfriends I grew up with. And as far as being judged, I think sometimes people don't understand this world that we're in. I think they sometimes think it's more glamorous than it actually is. And I think when you're on the outside looking in, you don't see the obstacles that we have to go through. You don't see the things that happen, and in your mind, you're like, oh, this is great. Like, let me get tickets to this. I'm going to tell you something someone told me not too long ago, like last year. I was saying I had to invite someone to my son just got married to his wedding. And I was saying, I'm going to invite this person. They're like, well, I said, they always come to games. They always do stuff. They'd be a good person, you know. I'll let her go ahead and bring someone else because she was going to come to the wedding by herself, but she really wanted to bring a significant other. And someone nicely told me, you know, people come around you and they go to games, they're not losing anything. They're not gaining, like they're gaining what you're giving them. They're gaining access to stuff. So when do people ever put themselves out for you?
Come on now.
Because you may need something. And during the times, and my son had 2 injuries. He tore both of his ACLs, his left and his right. And during that time, I really realized who exactly was for us. And he also broke his hand. Who was for us and who was on the side and was looking to benefit on what they can get, what free tickets they can get, what notoriety they can get. So you do learn, like some people do want something from you, and then you realize exactly who your true friends are. But I'm very blessed. I have a good foundation. I have great friends, people just to be around, and it's a blessing. Yeah.
That is a blessing. Gisette, now I know some of your business. So I'm gonna ask you this. Since every time we go out, there's somebody leaving a note on the car.
Oh my God.
Or there's somebody saying, excuse me, man. It's not your fault.
gonna put me on blast.
It's not your fault. I'm just saying I witnessed this, okay, ladies? I'm sure y'all have too.
Don't be quiet, baby.
So my question to you is it hard to have a relationship, and not just a relationship, but one where your son could accommodate your needs materialistically? Does the man feel intimidated, and what experiences have you had in that subject?
Well, the reason why I wanted to put that question out there is because I learned something last month from a gentleman. I went out to eat with him, and he told me that I'm a lot. In his mind, that I'm a lot. And I was like, what do you mean by that? And he's like, because those are big shoes to fill when you think about what your lifestyle seems to be like, people's perception, you know, and he feels like men are intimidated by us, you know, because of what, you know, what our sons can afford us. But we work, you know, we go out and hustle to get things on our own. We're not dependent upon our sons. So that's a misconception for this group of women. I can't speak for all, but for this group of women. But I'm talking about what a man told me specifically, that it seems like it's a lot to encompass and try to live up to because of what they perceive that we expect. You know, so that's my own personal experience. I guess if you can find a man that can step up to the plate, though, then that shouldn't be an issue. Right?
Come on now. Mm-hmm. All right, y'all heard that. Okay, well, let me get back to you, Janice. Where, I know you work, I know a lot of you hustle, right? When you're out and about, what kind of pushback do you get, or it's kind of similar to what you said, but what's your experiences with people who try to get in your space for the wrong reason?
Well, you know, it's funny because I wasn't married to an NBA player, but I was married to a very big presence, personality type guy. And so I don't really get pushback because we've always lived a certain lifestyle. Again, not an NBA lifestyle, but a huge lifestyle. So, and I know I went to Howard across the street.
Ain't you?
You know. So it's funny because I was just thinking today, it's so funny because I'm getting all these invitations to all this, which you always get, but it's like times 10 now. And I don't really, you go to the things that you go to, and you don't go to the things you don't want to, and I don't like blame anyone because this just comes with the whole thing. You know, you just have to accept this as like people like the people who are popular at the time. And so you really can't blame anyone. So I don't really get pushback because a lot of these people I've known for years and years and years. A lot of people, thankfully, that I'm around are super successful on their own. A lot of my kids' friends are super successful on their own. So we don't really get a lot of that. So I'm thankful for that.
And as you were speaking, I was getting a lot of yes, right. So yeah, you're right. This group, you are like-minded. So Beverly, where does your support come from? I know you were newly married, but how vital is that support?
I have a large village, but a village that I think I learned and I started creating when the boys were really small. So, I mean, like, these ladies, I've known these ladies for years. And most of the people in my circle, I've known them for a long time. And so they were able to help support the kids. And my kids know those relationships. And I think they are starting to build those relationships themselves. So my parents, are strong. All my boys have godmothers that are very involved in their lives. I mean,
That's big.
Yes, it's huge, and I can't make it to every game for every kid. Sometimes I show up and a parent go, "Well, where have you been?" But I have another son that I need to get to. But there's a godmother or aunt or my mother or my brother, and their family members, and and in that same turn, I show up for them. Because. You can't just take out. You have to give back. So I'm busy because I have to give back and receive and show my kids and teach them, not to just be on the receiving end of things. Yes. So I'm really blessed, and I believe, I'm in this our DeMatha High School village and the AAU village and the Prince George's County village and the college village. I mean, there's a village. I have a village all over the place, and the family. So, we built that for our families. I think we can all say that we have strong villages for our kids, and
the boys, they really look at themselves as being brothers. Like for real, they're all brothers.
All our boys are friends.
They're like, but they're tighter than that.
They're
You know what I
close.
mean? They're very close
to each other.
And they root for each other. So one person's on this team, they really root for each other.
That's really important. I mean, you have 4. You have one boy, one girl, and you have 2 boys and a girl, right? Yes. So I mean, you already have a makeshift friendship, so right? The others, they had to, develop it.
Exactly.
And that's so important because even my son with 2 godparents, never really in his life, it would have made the difference. So God bless y'all. Yes. Tell me, what has been the greatest excitement besides him getting into pro basketball? What has been the most excitement in your journey with your son in the career?
I would say...
Hey, Bill. This is Bill Hart, just so y'all know. This is my girlfriend.
Okay.
Woo! Live, y'all. Live.
I love it.
Look, when you're dealing with live radio, you just got to keep it moving. Bill Hart just came into the building, so I was introducing the ladies to him, but we'll do that later. But he is a phenomenal photographer extraordinaire to the celebrities, to the church, to everything. So he's here as a special gift to you and the ladies so we can keep this moment. Okay? Yes. So you were saying?
Did he get the part about college?
Well, let's start from there. Yeah, just to make sure that the viewers hear.
Okay, so I would say one of the greatest moments for me was when my son graduated college. Both my parents are deceased, and he's one of 13 grandchildren at that time. The family is grown, so I think now it's 14 or 15. And he's the first one to graduate college. Yeah. So that day when he graduated at 7 o'clock, at 6, 7 o'clock at night, it was the last graduation at Drexel. That was to me the proudest moment as a mother, because he did what he was supposed to do. He went to school the 4 years, he played a sport, he was committed, and he graduated on time. And I was just so excited for him and so happy for him. That was like probably my proudest moment as a mom. One of my proudest moments. The second one had nothing to do with basketball, but and
You're tearing up now.
Yeah,
look
right
now.
Because my son's married. Probably the most proudest moment for now is when he got married. He got married in September, and that was just like, I can't explain like the feeling when your son's at the altar and he's getting married. That was the best feeling in the world. So I'm super happy for him. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. So in basketball, there's plenty of times you've had excitement. We've all had excitement. Yeah.
We're getting down the wire. We got about 10 minutes, so I want to start with some questions you all may answer, right?
Okay.
And I'll start with you, Gisette. What message would you give to other whips, women in professional sports, whips?
You can do it, girl. It's gonna be all right. Hold on, it's gonna be all right.
One thing about Gisette, she is no nonsense, first of all, and she is short and sweet, not in height. Oh, might be going on again the thing, but anyway, yeah. So, what would you say? What are some words you would give to other whips? Advice, or just something that's from your heart.
Just stay focused, and no matter what you do, pour into your child. Always be the one that, when things are going wrong, always love on them. Love on them always, because you never know when something might happen and your child needs you, and who they're going to need. They're going to need their parents. They're going to need their mother. Yeah. So you got to just love on them. And don't put the sport before your child. Like I always told my son, he was a student athlete. Never told him you're a basketball player is over, because he also played football. It was always you're a student athlete. Because when you give your child an identity and then that's taken away from them, like they no longer play a sport, they forget who they are. Him being a student athlete, you graduate, you carry on, and then that's it. And then you can go on and do the rest of his life what he's supposed to do. But you tell your kid he's a basketball player, football player, when that career is over, they've lost everything. So I've always poured into Damien. I've always told him, do other things. So when he was in college, he was on the golf range, he was on the shooting range. Do other things, just don't play basketball. Yeah.
Wonderful. Beverly?
So I have 4 of them. Can I say 4 things?
Yes, because we will appreciate that with the 4 different human beings.
No, I think it's really important to stay prayerful. I think for me, I always get back to peace and grace. Because there'll always be some good times, but then when the times are really hard, I always tell the boys, you have to, be graceful. You have to handle it with grace, and you need to have peace of mind, because we always worry about our mental health. Yes. And, people think, the NBA is great, but it's lonely. Yeah. It's a lonely space, and there's a lot, but there are lots of people looking at you, but you are many times alone. So,
that is the
of
truth.
course, education, we're always going to say that, because I think that's really important, that they value their education. And in the NBA or in professional sports, there's always 2 careers, because the sport is only going to last so long. But when the sport comes to an end, you have to be ready for that next career, whatever it is. So,
Thank you, Janice.
So for me, one of my son's taglines is hungry and humble. And so humility is everything. And just because God has given you a gift, it's not the only gift. And, a mom at Duke, when we first started, said, don't let the highs get too high or the lows get too low, because it is a journey, an up and down journey. And then the last thing I'll say is stay focused. You have a strategy for your family. Don't let anyone get in the middle of what you're trying to do, because 9 times out of 10 they don't know. They don't know what it's like, and they don't have your mental. Because one thing about the 4 of us is we're very smart, and so we had a strategy for our children. We had, sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. It doesn't. Excuse me. But we had a strategy. But so I say, we have a big village, but sometimes you have to keep your strategic circle small.
And the truth is, everybody should have a strategy.
Absolutely.
For your kids.
Say that one
A
more time.
plan. Everybody should have a plan or a strategy for their family, for sure.
Let me ask you something that Gisette and I talked about at her Synergy 4 last year, right? When it comes to, and you can answer this because you didn't answer it at your own conference. When it comes to the highs, and when they do break or tear their ACL or something happens, and then all of the rah-rah is not there for them, how do you deal with that mental health? How do you deal with your son at that point?
Well, for me, I have always taught them to ignore the compliments so you can ignore the criticisms. I've always told them that. Don't pay attention to the good or the bad. Just stay centered and just focus on what you have to do, and God's going to take care. Be there. I'm their friend. They know I'm going to let them know what they need to hear, but at the same time, I'm very close with all 3 of my children, so they can come to me, they can cry on my shoulder, we laugh together, we talk about people together, we do all kinds of stuff. So I tell them to ignore the compliments, and so you can kind of ignore the criticism, and then it doesn't, your emotions won't swing back and forth. So.
I love that.
You pray. I'm going to be honest with you, because I will tell you, which I have not really shared this with a lot of people, but the day my son tore his ACL, we were on Long Island. I was at my sister's house, and we were playing in Madison Square Garden. My son has wanted to play at the Garden since he was 4 years old. I took him to a game, a St. John's game. So he was his opportunity. He was playing at the Garden. They were playing Arizona, #1 team in the country. I got on my knees, did something I never do. I normally just pray, let him have a good game. I prayed. I said, Lord, draw Damien closer to you. My son tore his ACL that day. I said, Lord, that's not what I meant.
Praying mother.
Yes, when that happened, I said, God, that's not what I meant. But by him doing that, he took the people out of his life that weren't supposed to be there. Because he was on a certain trajectory, and he took the people out of his life that weren't supposed to be there. So I just pray. When he tore his ACL the second time, I just pray. Yes.
I love it. Look, we only have like 2 minutes left, so go ahead, ladies, go ahead. I could have kept y'all here for 2 days.
So what I would say, I think sometimes in the worst times, something beautiful comes out of it. And my son had to sit out a year in college, which was we thought was the worst thing that could ever happen, and it became one of the best things that could happen to him. So I believe a lot of times in the tough times, beautiful things come out of it.
Yes, ma'am.
I have to agree. Everyone's journey is. I think sometimes the tougher your journey is, the more sustainable you are. So that which comes easy is not really appreciated often. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. So I say, we've all been so humble, and we've all been so thankful, and like everything we look at it as a blessing that can be taken away at any second. So you have to give. You have to give of yourself. You have to always, like one of my girlfriends who's big time New York PR girl, she went to a game when we were at in Jersey, and Quinn signed. He was at Duke. It was a big game. I forgot who they played. He signed every single autograph. Like he was the only player that signed every single autograph, and he always has. I mean, that's his thing. Like people come to me at different games and say, "Your son did this," and "Is Quinn your son?" Well, he did this for my son, and he did this, and so it's like you have to give of yourself, and so that's when it does go down, and something bad does happen, you're not like caught up in this persona. Yeah.
Ladies, I'll tell you, I know Gisette very well, and I can already feel the spirit and the aura, and this is some good stuff here. This is the poster for the pro ball mothers, okay? And I'm appreciating y'all. And let me tell you, tune in for, and I'll let you tell them about that a little bit before we go off, that what just happened, the part 1 and part 2.
Oh, no.
No?
I can't,
Okay.
I can't explain that.
No?
Let Janice explain it. What we just did with Steph Lover.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Steph Lover, the Shadow League. The 4 of us just did a show, and it was an interview session similar to this, and similar questions were asked, and that was the first time that the 4 of us got together. But I tell you, this is a blessing because although we've known each other in different ways, we've never come together like this. So we're hoping that we can help because, again, we want to help mothers. We want to help fathers. We want to help parents. It's not that unnavigatable, if that's a word.
It's 7:59. Look, you have the right one here. She's a part of the show here. So anytime you just talk to Gisette, you're welcome to come. Thank you so much for tuning in. And we are looking for sponsors. You can inbox me if you're interested, and we will go over the details. Also, Igor, do you have some of the Chris Thomas? Tune in tomorrow with the Chris Thomas Show. He is the original king of hip hop. And 30 years he's celebrating, he's celebrating 30 years as the mayor of Rap City from BET. I was there when he was scouted. He asked me to join him on his show at Radio 1, well now Urban 1. And so tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. you can tune in to hear us on 104.1 a.m. or 95.9 FM. Also, anything else that I have for you, Igor? I just want to show them. I think I had 1 or 2 other things, but that's okay. I just want to thank the women in professional sports on the Whips Unscripted segment with Gisette Lang English and all the ladies. Please just say your name one more time and we're going to get off the air.
Gisette.
Michelle. Beverly.
Jan.
Thank
you, Dr. Renee.
You're welcome. And these are the women in professional sports. They're sons and just a wonderful group of women. I wish y'all the best, and I just hope this goes global where you can talk about this so everyone can feel firsthand in the front row what's going on.
Thank you,
God
Renee.
bless you. God bless you till next week.
Thank you, Renee.
Thank you.